I'm your host, Janice Matui, and this is A Sit at the Table. A Sit at the Table delves into the intricacies of professional skills and emotional intelligence, offering insights on how you can thrive in the present and ensure long-term relevance. Serving as a gateway to mastering today's evolving professional and business landscape, our focus is to equip audiences with the necessary tools that ensure they thrive in the present, but also secure enduring relevance in the future. So join us, like and subscribe, A Sit at the Table, only on YouTube.
My name is Patricia Siwila. I'm the CEO of Chudleigh House School, a private school here in Lusaka. I'm also the CEO of Dynamic Concepts Limited, which is a consulting firm here in Lusaka. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm also a pillar in my family. Everybody looks to me. I'm Mrs. Fix-It. And I would say my journey to where I am now has really been inspired by my mother. She has been a role model for me, a very strong lady, very determined lady, stops at nothing. And that's what I've seen my whole life. And I think that has been the platform that has made me who I am today. I soldier on because if she did it, I can do it too. And so I believe that's how I've become who I am today. It's been bittersweet, lots of hard work. The private school space is very competitive. And so you need to be one up all the time. It has had its challenges. And obviously the other side of it, it's been a fulfilling journey. I took over from my mother some 9-10 years ago now. And she just one day said, "My girl, I'm leaving, over to you." So I said, "Mom, what do you mean?" She says, "I'm done." I had been around her for 2 or 3 years, and that was her way of showing me the ropes. And so I had seen what she had been doing, walked side by side with her. But the journey didn't begin there. When I was growing up, a little girl, it was my mother's dream to have a school. There's a story that I inspired her to build that school. And I would scrub floors with her while she's getting school ready for opening, plant trees around campus. So I've been walking with her the entire time, unknowingly that I was to succeed her. So the story of Chudleigh House School is not alien to me. I think it's been inborn, and this is why I'm here today. As I mentioned earlier, she's a hard worker. She works hard. She stops at nothing. She's determined. Despite being a hard worker, she's very humble. I've learned humility from her. She believes in getting things done. You don't stop when you're tired. You stop when you're done. And I think that's my mantra now. They call me a workaholic, but I don't think I am. I just prefer to get things done. I think it's a state of mind. You can actually get yourself to believe that you can keep moving without focusing on whether you're tired or whether I can't do this anymore. I think you can find the drive from within you. She still continues to be my sounding board even now. I'll consult her on different things if I hit a hard place. I'll ask her questions, her advice. She continues to be a strong mentor for me. And I think what differentiates the two of us is we come from a different school of thought. She did an amazing job to get the school where it is. She created a brand, a very strong brand. And I inherited a strong brand. And that's the springboard for where we are now. I just took it a step further. As she said when she left, I've done what I can, and I think you can do better. That's what I've been able to do, is take it to the next step. I believe my leadership style is transformational, combination of lots of other styles, I think. I don't have one way of doing things, but I'm a strong believer in teams. I believe that you're only as strong as your team. You have to put the right people in place. You have to also inspire the people that you work with. Make them believe that they can do it. You will find a lot of my team members will come and say to you, I've been pushed to a point where I didn't know I could do something until she said, you can do it. So I find fulfillment in being able to recognize people's strengths and being able to hone those strengths, and then they too can become leaders. I think it's so important to pull people along with you. It shouldn't be about, I'm the boss. I don't have that approach. I work with my team side by side. I don't pull them, I work with them. I don't tell them what to do. You know, I work, whatever I ask you to do, I can do as well. I'm not going to make you do something that I'm not going to do. So I believe that also having people come to the table and give their input into anything, their ideas. Innovation comes from there. Nobody is know-all, you know. You're not the only person, or you don't have knowledge of everything. You get ideas from people around the table. And I find that I learn every day as well. You know, you can learn from anybody, believe it or not. Every single day you can learn something new from anybody. So I feel I'm an inclusive leader, that I allow my teams to be innovative, to be creative, to be part of the vision, and to be able to also enhance themselves as well. I think that's where growth is. I think that's where success is, when people around you are also growing. Service delivery. I believe you must be focused on a product that you're providing, the quality of a product or service that you're providing. And that has been my focus. If we can enhance the standards of the quality of our service, then the clients will come. And investing in that specific area, and also strengths around the team members, and of course, marketing. Without marketing, you're nowhere. Nobody knows about you. Nobody understands what you do. Nobody knows the product or the service that you're providing. And this is one of the things that wasn't done in earlier times with Chudleigh House School, because there was a belief that, no, you don't market. Nobody blows their own trumpet. I said, hold on, but you're in business. And if you're in business, you have to market. So that's one of the biggest, I think, strategies that I have used, is to enhance our marketing budget as well as activities. When I took over 9 years ago now, we had 500 students. We are now 1,200 students strong. And so this is as a result of people just learning about Chudleigh House School, what we do, showcasing what we're about, getting an insight to what we do on a daily basis. And then, of course, the results must show for themselves. No good blowing your trumpet and the results don't show for themselves. It's so important to keep marketing. As you know, Coca-Cola, one of the longest existing companies, very successful. I mean, their sales are through the roof, but they don't ever stop marketing. So when you're doing well, market, as well as when you're not doing well, market. I have people who say to me, but Chudleigh House School, why are you marketing? You don't have any places. I said, no, we do, but it's a marketing strategy, right? We need to be able to let people know what we're doing, and then they can come and see what we're doing and appreciate that we're actually providing a service that is valuable to them. So at Chudleigh House School, we believe in preparing children for life and not exams. There's a school of thought that believes that children should just be prepared to take an exam at the end of the year. And we don't believe that's holistic. We believe in honing skills. We believe in honing life skills. The pandemic taught us a lot. You know, when you look at the individuals or organizations that survived COVID-19, it was because they had a skill that they were able to fall back on. So we believe that, yes, the academic side is very important, but we also need to look at the other side, the skills, the life skills, the talents that children have. There are children who are not academically strong. So what are we saying? Are those children not important? Are those children not going to make it in life? I don't think so, because they may have a skill or a talent that they can build upon and succeed in life. So we believe in not just focusing on the academic side, but also the other side. And by the time we're done with a learner, we're churning out children who are going to go out into the world and be somebody and become somebody and be innovative and creative and be entrepreneurs, be engineers, be, inventors. That's what we're lacking right now, because the focus is on the 6 points. 6 points are great. Do you have a skill? Just this week, I had an opportunity to interview. And you'd be surprised at how many individuals have 6 points, but they lack the skill. When I'm interviewing and looking for team members, I'm looking for soft skills. I'm looking for, what are you bringing to the table? Yes, you have a degree, that's great, but we need a little more than that. And that's what we're doing as a school. We're trying to create a human being that is well-rounded, that can go out in the world and survive in any space that they are given to survive. So our space, the private school space, was one of the hardest hit in the pandemic, because, as you know, the only income stream we have is school fees. And so when schools were closed, our income stopped to come in. And we don't get any aid from anywhere. We don't get grant aid, we don't get government aid. You have to survive, and that's what we did, was survive. It requires financial discipline, it requires planning, it requires innovation. And one of the things that we did is we transitioned to e-learning. Something not everybody has been able to do, because it is quite involving to be able to deliver lessons online. And it came at a time when nobody was prepared. And we had just started thinking about e-learning, but we hadn't rolled it out on a full scale. So we needed to be able to keep our learners engaged, because, as you can imagine, when children are out of school for a long period of time, even what they learned starts to fade. And we were concerned that by the time the children came back, we would be starting from the beginning. And a lot of the year had already elapsed, and we didn't want a situation where we would have to go right back to the beginning. So we came up with this e-learning program, and that is what kept us going. And obviously, as a leader, it was important for me to speak to my team and have a conversation around how we survive as an institution and what is required to happen for us to keep afloat. And we were fortunate enough that our staff appreciated the conversation. They understood the predicament we were all in. It wasn't about us and them. We're in this together. And so they put their best foot forward and ensured that we did what we needed to do as far as service delivery is concerned. And then it's just financial discipline at the end of the day. And being able to plan for a rainy day. It's important not to spend all you have. Put some aside so that when you're in a situation where you need to look for support, that support can come internally. It was not an easy time, I'll tell you that. We had absolutely no help from anywhere. We had to figure it out on our own. We have work to do. Some good steps have been taken in the right direction, but there are some areas that I think an overhaul would be great. A starting point would be the quality of teachers. The quality of teachers in Zambia. What kind word can I use? I just said earlier how I must have interviewed about 40 to 50 candidates this past week. And out of that 40 to 50 candidates, maybe 5 met the standard that we're looking for. So the tertiary levels of education, the colleges, need to look at their curriculum because these are the facilitators of children. They need to be one up on them. They're no longer vessels of or dispensers of knowledge. Children have knowledge all around them. They have the internet. They can get their information. What they need is somebody to facilitate learning for them, to guide them, to show them, to allow them to be creative. And that's not going to happen from the quality of teachers that we have right now. The other side of it is our curriculum. It needs to change. I'm sure you all heard the story of the fifth graders in Japan who were given an engine block to dissect at grade 5 level. What are we doing at grade 5? You know, critical thinking is not there. We need to be teaching our children critical thinking. That's the future. We cannot be teaching our children to just memorize, prepare for an exam. It's not going to help them as they go out into the world. So that needs some looking at as well. And looking at skills, like I said. Not every child is academically gifted. Some of them just have a skill that they can use and grow and become somebody in life. So those are the areas we need to look at. I think we should try to balance when it comes to the academic side and the soft skills, because soft skills is the future. We need children to have life skills, critical thinking, and that's what needs to be embedded in the curriculum. The other side is digitization. We're not ready to go digital. We have a long way to go as far as being able to deliver lessons online, being able to reach every child to be taught online. We don't know when the next pandemic will come or the next epidemic, but education can't wait. We cannot close schools every time we run into a situation we need to close schools. Children don't stop growing. You know, they're growing. This year they're in grade 1, next year in grade 2. We don't have enough leverage to expand the time that they have in a particular grade. They have to move on. So it's so important that we look at that side of our education system, and also the methods of teaching. The teachers need to evolve. They need to change. They need to look at what other ways can they teach. It's no longer about standing in front of the blackboard or whiteboard and writing notes, you lose the class. When you turn around, there'll be nobody there. So we need those methods of teaching need to change. And I think if we start looking in that direction, then the future of Zambian education will be brighter. Our education system needs to transition from teaching children on the basis of what they need to know versus what they think or what they believe. Investigative learning, allowing them to be inquisitive, curious. We need to transition to projects and coursework where they have hands-on experience and they can make their mistakes along the way because that's how they'll learn. We need to get away from just read the textbook and then I'll ask you questions later. It's more just like memorizing than learning. Because if you ask a child outside of an exam question, they probably can't explain what they told you because they didn't understand it. They were just told, you need to know A, B, C, D, and just repeat it back to me verbatim. That's the type of learning that's going on. We also have a situation where I was shocked. Is it business studies? Children are still being taught about duplicating machines and fax machines in this day and age. What use is that information to our learner who's competing on the world stage, by the way? They're not just going to live in Zambia. The world is now so small that they have to compete globally. But with that kind of curriculum, we're setting our children up for failure. So we definitely need to look at the curriculum. We need to make some changes so that our children can compete comfortably and confidently on the world stage. By His grace, by God's grace. I amaze myself sometimes. I don't know how I do everything that I do, but I believe it's by God's grace. He put me here. He gave me this responsibility, so He gets me through. But we all need balance, right? I have a very needy husband, even more needy daughter. And so once I'm done with work, I go home to my other job and I've got to meet these needs. But our mental health is so important because you can't pour from an empty cup. And a lot of times when I find myself depleted, I actually say to my housemates, that's what I call them, guys, I have nothing more to give. I need to recharge. So it's important for each of us to balance our work and our personal lives and find time for ourselves. For me, that looks like sleeping in on Saturday if I don't have anything to do on Saturday. I normally have very busy schedules, but Saturday is my day to sleep in. It looks like taking vacations often because I need the break. That's like every 6 weeks, I must get away, I must unplug. I work out as well. I think that's what calms me the most. And just being in silence. I'm not a big television person. My housemates will come home and the house is quiet, not even a TV on. Say, but you can't even watch TV. I said, that's what relaxes you guys, but it actually does the opposite for me. I like just to be in a silent room and just relax. Being around family also, when they're not needy as well, because family can also be needy, right? So that's what it looks like for me. It's really unplugging, I call it. You just need to unplug at some point and say, I can't do any more. Let me take care of me and I'll come back and pick it up. And you're better for it once you've had that me time. Leadership is big for me. I think I'm really interested in the leadership space and what it brings. I guess it speaks to what I do every day. So I look out for articles, magazines around leadership, books on leadership, people like John Maxwell, Dale Carnegie also talks a lot about leadership. I've been an avid follower of Oprah Winfrey. I know it sounds cliche, but since I was a little girl, I've always loved Oprah and what she stands for, because I believe in being authentic and being yourself, and I think that's what she has been. She doesn't try to be anybody else. She's just who she is as she presents herself. And she's been through many challenges and overcome. So, and she has all these magazines. She has her book club. At one point, I used to actually follow her book club and get the books and read along. Education space, I think my mother is who I really look up to. She's an educationist at heart, and she has a wealth of information. She's lived an amazing life. She's been through several chapters of her life, playing different roles and doing so much, and contributed so much to this country. I think I look to her as well to kind of guide where I'm going. Anything that is not fiction. I'm not a fan of fiction. I read a lot of self-help books, leadership books, as well as biographies. I think it's important to see what others have done and tap into some of those strengths. So yeah, I think in a nutshell, that would be me.